this is Danny Flexen, welcoming you to the weekly edition of SecondsOut Flexpectations, our weekly look at what's going on at the weekend to come. We're here at 4:30 PM every Thursday to give you an outline of the action coming up and maybe a few betting tips along the way, although we can't promise that they'll always be accurate or that you won't lose your house. So, you know, when the fun stops, stop. Moving that along, Matchroom have got a big show this weekend in Monte Carlo, Playground of Millionaires. Topping the show is Fire, defending his WBA super flyweight title against Israel Gonzalez of Mexico. Relatively straightforward assignment, it seems, for Fire, famous last words and all that, but we're really waiting for Fire to start challenging some of the bigger names in the division. There was talk not too long ago of a unification fight with IBF champion Jerwin Ancajas, which would be a very exciting clash of styles. Maybe that could be resurrected after this one. Ancajas has actually stopped Gonzalez about 3 fights ago, I believe. Game performance by the Mexican, gave it all he had, but he just didn't have enough. Quite limited, tends to go back with his hands down. A bit raw. Fire, technically the better fighter, can dig a bit too, especially to the body. So you would expect Fire to at least match the performance of Ancajas, who stopped Gonzalez in the 10th round. If Fire can go a bit better, if he can get him out of there a bit earlier, then maybe that pushes his case forward for those big fights, either against Ancajas or perhaps Roman Gonzalez, who he's talked about challenging as well. So that's the top of the bill. One really kind of more intriguing fight, I would say, on the show sees Frank Buglioni, Winchmore Hill's finest, former British light heavyweight champion, try to get himself back in the mix against Chinese Olympian Fanlong Meng. Meng only went out of the London 2012 Olympics to the eventual bronze medalist Yamaguchi Falcao, and even that was on countback. So he's a very talented amateur, 6'2", rangy southpaw. Buglioni has said a lot in the build-up to this fight of his prowess against southpaws, especially in the amateurs. I'm not an expert on his amateur career back at Repton, but I know as a pro there's good news and bad news on that score. Good news is that he's never lost to a southpaw as a pro. The bad news is, part of the reason for that is he's only fought 2 of them and at quite a low level. And he hasn't fought one for nearly 4 years. So it's going to be a bit of a change for him, although I'm sure Don Charles, great experienced trainer, I'm sure he's got plenty of southpaw sparring at the gym out in Mill Hill, and Frank will be ready for this. Frank's actually the favourite for the fight, which surprised me. Meng's unbeaten, former Olympian, comes with amateur pedigree. He was at World Championships, he was at Asian Games, and a tricky puzzle to solve. We hope Buglioni gets the job done, you know, patriotism and all that, and also I lived in Enfield for a number of years, so I'm familiar with Frank's background, know him pretty well. But on the flip side, we're thinking of you, as always, very charitable here at SecondsOut. The value, betting-wise, is with Meng. Him to win on a decision, which is not out of the realms of possibility, is a whopping 6-1. So again, don't put everything you have on it, don't put your shirt on it, because we don't want to be responsible for you walking around shirtless. Yeah, you know who I'm talking to. But that's where the value is. It might be worth a cheeky punt. Also on the Monte Carlo show, Michael Hunter, fresh from his relative upset at York Hall over Martin Boccoli, is back just 6 weeks later, which is refreshing to see, especially in the heavyweight division. He'll be taking on another dangerous but slow heavyweight in Alexander Ustinov. Hunter, unfortunately for the betting guys among us, is a favourite for this. I think the bookies have got wise to his talents now after the Boccoli win. He was very good in that fight, started off really fast, his footwork was good, continually beat Boccoli to the punch and got the job done in good fashion. He's got fast hands, Hunter, he's very skillful. If he can produce a similar performance against Ustinov, and you would imagine just 6 weeks later he stayed in the gym, so he should still be pretty fit, he can probably get the job done again. I mean, Ustinov is a bit lumbering, you know, hard puncher and strong, but lumbering. He reminds me of a mummy, or if people remember this, the children's TV show Count Duckula, the nanny character. It's very dangerous. You wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of him if he catches up with you, but he's very unlikely to do so because he is pretty slow, pretty flat-footed and pretty clumsy. So we'll look forward to that. Big show this weekend, Monte Carlo. Hope you enjoy it, but tell us what you think. You know, what's the fight you're most looking forward to from that show? Any upsets you want to predict? What do you think of Fai's career trajectory? Is he not being moved as fast as you'd like? Let us know in the comments below. We'll be back next Thursday, 4:30 PM, and we'll be here on Monday with our review of the weekend's action, again at 4:30 PM. Thank you.